So I'm Tom, Marquita's behind the camera. We are destined to explore, and today we're going to do a mod on our camper here. It's an Alliance 310 2021, and we're going to be installing a Fisher Paykel dishwasher. So this dishwasher is just a bit under, they call it 24 inches, but it's 23 and a half-ish, something in that range. The opening that we're going to put it into is about 22 inches.
That's not going to work.
No, that's not going to work. And then the depth of it here is to the seal about 22 inches. And when we measure inside to the supports for the drawers, we've got 18 and a half inches. You may be wondering why we picked a dishwasher that doesn't fit. It would be great if this hole was large enough, but the reason we went with the Fisher Paykel is one, it's about an inch shorter than a lot of the other models, and we're hoping to save, have two drawers in the top here when we're done. A lot of people just put one large drawer in there and maybe they got a little extra space in there, so we're going to try and maximize that space as much as possible. The other reason we went with this model is because it only uses about 1.8 gallons on I think an economical wash, and we'd like to be able to use this while we're out boondocking as well. So at 1.8 gallons, we think that we can save more water by using the dishwasher than we actually be used by washing by hand. Our RV is dishwasher prepped, which means it has an electrical connection, and it has a water connection and a drain connection already provided. We're probably going to do a little modification on there. We're going to get to this. First thing, I've already taken out a couple of drawers here, but I wanted to save one for demonstration purposes. So in case you don't know, the way these drawers come out is there's these little tabs on the side, and if you push this side down and pull up on the other side and get out of the way, it will slide out. So if you don't know how to get your drawers out, that's how you do it. So what we're going to be trying to do here is, one thing is widen this cabinet opening here to the height of the dishwasher. We're going to remove this bottom piece down here, because that's going to let us set the dishwasher down a little farther. And then the other problem that we have here is these supports back here support the drawers, and we have to have the drawer supports to keep the dishwasher up. So we're going to take this whole assembly out of here, and we're going to try and put some posts on the side over here, and then a piece that goes across the middle to support the two drawers that we plan to have up on top there. So we'll see how that goes. So next is getting out the intermediate pieces here. So they have pocket screws in here, so we're going to pull those pocket screws out. Kind of hard to get into those. Now we're going to take out the drawer support here, so we're just going to pull this out. It looks like there's just one screw holding that in. Yep. So we'll pull that out of there. Okay, so that's loose. Alright, so like we talked about, our cabinet is not wide enough. So we need to take off about 5/8 an inch on either side to get it to fit. So I've used painter's tape here and marked off the lines because it'd be easier to see the lines on the painter's tape. That way my saw also doesn't scratch the finish on here. So you need to follow the line very closely here, or stay on this side. We'll go with this and see how we do. I can't start from the bottom because it's too tall. So I'll have to start halfway in between here. This is the point of no return.
Uh-oh.
So
dun, dun, dun.
Hopefully everything goes well here.
What do you think?
Well, so far it's going pretty good. It seems like it's coming out pretty straight. There's this extra trim piece on the inside that's in the way here, so I'm having to cut through all of that. So if you're trying to do this yourself, you're going to want a pretty decent saw and a really sharp blade to get through all that. So finish off the bottom half and then we'll move on to the other side. All right, I got that side done.
Wow, that was a lot of work.
What made it so hard is this extra piece in here, and then the fact that there's metal staples in there, and I'm having to cut through the metal staples with a blade that's not really designed for that. So this side hopefully is going to go a lot easier.
It's looking pretty good. Looks like you were pretty straight.
Yeah, we might need to get the belt sander and just clean that up a little bit once we get the rest of this out of here, but onward. This side went much easier. We weren't going through two thicknesses of wood here. One little snafu here was we did find a little pocket screw in this part here that we had to pull out of there because it was going to be really hard to cut through the entire screw, unlike the staples on this side. So we'll try and clean this up a little bit, and off we'll go. I think that's it.
Okay. Look like you got more tools.
We got a problem.
Houston?
Houston, we have a problem. So my grand plan here was to take the dishwasher all the way down to here, so that we get as much space here as possible for the drawers up above. So it's going to sit a little bit low, go right down to the bottom of the cabinet here. So that's why we cut this off and cut into the piece on the back side here. But what I didn't account for was there's this piece on the bottom that holds the whole end of the cabinet on, and you can see where we cut through that and how much of that material we can leave. So this is going to be in the way. So one option would be to try and raise the dishwasher up, and then it would sit high here and it would just maybe look a little odd. My solution, I think, is to take a piece of angle iron in here. We'll have to cut this off to the right length, but we'll screw this down to the base and then screw from this into this side piece, which has a 3/4 inch piece on the side. So if I use short enough screws, we shouldn't go through the side. So we're going to have to take this off.
Take what off?
Take this piece out. It's going to be stapled on there, so hopefully we'll see how hard that is to get off. And then we'll put the angle piece in there, screw the end of that.
And you have to do that on both sides?
No, just this side.
Okay.
Is all, fortunately. All right.
Well, you are MacGyver.
See how that goes.
All right.
So we got the little base piece that was in the way out down there. It was stapled in, well, screwed down, and then stapled in both to this end piece, which is now completely loose, and into the bottom. Fortunately, because it's RV construction, they just use staples, which pull it super easy. So what I've got here is just a little tiny piece of angle iron, and we're just going to put this in at the bottom down here, and that will secure the side cabinet down and give us the space that we need to slide that dishwasher in there. So
brilliant.
So the dishwasher is going to sit very flat down in the bottom. And because of that, there's not really going to be any space for these wires to come up through here, so we need to find another route for those. This is the plug-in for the dishwasher, which was going to be in here, and I don't know there'd be enough room for this anyway, so we're going to run this underneath and up through this cabinet here. And then this plug-in on the end is kind of the same kind of a problem here, where it we got to have a spot for that wire, so we're going to run that one up through as well, and then run it out on the side, and we'll be able to run it up the back side there. We're going to disconnect those. We already checked that the power is off. We got to check that one on the end.
It is. I just tried to plug something into it.
So we'll get those moved. So here's where we're at. I've built up this base just ever so slightly. This is like 3/16 tall. And the reason I did that was because this angle iron and the screws that stick out, I didn't want the dishwasher sitting on those screws. So I built this up. I added an extra little support piece across here and one down the middle. I don't see anything about the dishwasher that says how much support you need to have. We have the outlet in the end of the cabinet up here. I'm done, and the wire run down through the back here, so that won't be in the way of the washer. And then in here, we've got the outlet for the power for the dishwasher mounted on that block back there. All right, so we are on day 2. We took a little break to figure out some of the drawer mounting stuff that we had to do. So as you recall, there was a support in the back of the cabinet that was used to support the ends of the drawers. And that was in the way of the dishwasher. And I'm sure there's a lot of different ways of doing this, but I decided to try and support it on both sides. So because we are very narrow on this side and there's not a whole lot of room there, I ended up buying a piece of aluminum channel, basically L channel, and just cut this down very thin at the bottom where the dishwasher is going to be, and then wider up here, and screwed the backer board for the drawers in there. So this is going to go like this inside, and then we'll screw through this into the supports on the outside to give it to support. Basically, there's not a lot of support really needed there, just to hold the drawers up. The drawers will give it support it going this way, so it won't move around. So this is going to be way stronger than what was ever in here. So this is going to go inside here. We're going to have another piece that's going to go behind it on this side to support that, but we're not going to attach any of that until we get the drawers in. The drawers were the other big challenge here. Is they've got to go in new places. They have to get in there exactly square, and the exact width in the back, so that the drawer slides freely in and out. And so that was the big question: is how do we get those drawers in the exact those drawer slides in the exact position that they need to be? So after a bit of thought, what we ended up doing, well, and then the other thing is, you know, if you try and put a drawer in there to use that, you can't hardly get to the screw holes to put screws in. So what I did was I built basically a little drawer jig that we can put the slides on, and we'll put this in the opening and then use that to line everything up, and that should give us the exact openings in the back. So
you put this in, you screw it in,
yep,
and then you disconnect it from the slides.
Yep, we'll put this in, we'll put the screws in the slides where they're supposed to be. And then this whole piece will just pull out like a drawer, and these side slides will stay in the cabinet. Okay,
and then you slide the next on for the next.
Yeah, so we'll get a view of that as we go about and get that part in there. So
brilliant.
So now we're modifying the drawers, just kind of prepping them to get ready to go into the rig.
What modifications are you making?
So we need to cut down the height of the drawer. So taking off the handles, we can take off the front. So we'll be ready to cut those down. I don't think we'll cut those down today because we need to probably get everything in there and figure out how that's going to fit. So the front is just held on by the handle, and then they've put a whole bunch of little staples around here. So I've got a hammer with a slightly soft face on it that I'm just going to try and go on the other side too. So once again, as before, lots of little tiny staples that are pretty easy to pull out. We're just going to take this is a little flat nose cutter, and we're just going to snip these off. And these things fly when they come off, so you got to make sure you're away. You can hear them hitting all over the walls.
So what are we doing?
All right, so the drawers are too big to fit in the openings. Actually, they fit in the openings, but because of the magnetic catches, they're not going to go in. So we need to take about an inch off the tops of the drawers. In order to do that, we need to take the sides off the slide, or the slides off the sides. So there's just a couple screws on each side here. 4.5 inches And we're going to go to 3.5 inches. Go to 3 5/8. So this is the advantage of doing this at home, is we have all the tools necessary. I'm trying to do this in the camper without all this stuff in the car.
So we're trying the newly
Adjusted. But yeah, it clears the catch, which is what we wanted. I'm not going to put that one in. We need to put at least one of the cross members in up here. And then we can probably start moving on to the dishwasher part. So.
And then you still need to cut down the face.
Yep, the faces. But I want to get the dishwasher in and make sure all that's good to make sure we don't unforeseen issues that we don't know about yet. So
okay.
All right, so we got the dishwasher pulled into place. We got it set on the foam packaging down here. We've got the water line, the power cord, and the hose run through here.
Okay, so now it's just a matter of pushing it in the hole.
That's, in theory, that should be the case.
So let's get it right in front of it. Okay, my side looks good.
Pick up on your side.
Okay.
There we
Okay.
go. There it is. It's going.
Okay.
Boy, it fits like a glove, doesn't it?
You did a good job making the hole the right size.
So we did get the drawers in. The use of the drawer template was absolutely a lifesaver. We had quite a bit of frustration even with that. The big mistake that we made is we had put the backing piece in there and just kind of had it standing up on the supports, figuring that once we had everything lined up, we could secure everything down. But unfortunately, once we got all the slides mounted and when we screwed the stuff down, it moved everything around and we had to pull everything back out completely out and start over again. So the other issue that we had was we didn't have these horizontal pieces in here, and it had spread apart just ever so slightly. I mean, what looked to be a 32nd of an inch or something, you wouldn't think that would matter, but it seems to have made a difference. So those are in, moving really nice and smooth. So we'll get started on the rest of the dishwasher, and then we'll come back and we'll put the drawer fronts on there, and hopefully we'll be done with this fun project. So after putting a sanding sealer on the cut edges and putting stain over the top of that sanding sealer, the stain came out really nice.
Yeah, so they look pretty good.
All right, so one of the last steps we're doing here is they give us this adhesive plastic to put on to put above the dishwasher, so when steam and stuff comes out of it, it doesn't damage what's above there. So what we've done is we have applied it to the very bottom of the drawer, out to the edge here. And then we're just going to wrap it down around the bottom of the drawer and then trim it off with a knife, just to protect that. As steam comes up, it won't damage the front of the drawer. So I'm just going to apply it all the way across the bottom of the drawer just to give a little moisture protection in case anything does come up there, I guess. I've installed a number of dishwashers over the years, and I have to say this is probably the easiest dishwasher install that I've ever done. Basically, we just slid it into the hole. We fed the power cable and drain and water feed line through this hole that we put down here in the corner. Just a big loop in the water cord that comes over here. We replaced the existing shutoff valve with a metal one on here that's just a little better quality. The drain hose has to be mounted up high. So if you look here, we have it mounted up right underneath the counter. So that would prevent, if you ever overflowed your tanks or whatever, you'd get water in here before you start flooding water out of the dishwasher, and then that just hooks on to the spout that was on the side of this here. The dishwasher did come with this little rubber boot here and a couple little clamps, so that makes that connection really super easy. And then we do have a water leak detector that we keep underneath the sink, just in case we ever have any problems with water and things leaking down there. It'll go off kind of like a smoke detector. So a simple install for the dishwasher part. Obviously the cabinet work and modifying the drawers and all that kind of stuff was a bit more complicated. That's really where all the work was. But the dishwasher piece, sliding that in and hooking that up, was super easy to do. So we just got back from our first little short trip with the dishwasher, to test it out a little bit. And what did you think?
Love it. That's all I can say. It gets the dishes really clean and so much more efficiently, obviously, than hand washing them. And it's a great place to put stuff away, so we just wash the dishes once a day at the end of the day. It has really a lot more capacity than I thought. We got like 10 dishes in there, or 10 plates in there, and it just has a much larger capacity than I expected. Yeah. But mainly just it just keeps the place clean without dishes, hanging around, and also it got them much cleaner. Yeah, and that was kind of one of the big selling features. We ran into somebody in Florida who had a dishwasher, and what they said was, it's a place to keep the dirty dishes until you're ready to wash them. Right. And we hadn't really thought about that, but that's really nice to be able to put the dishes into the dishwasher instead of having them stacked up in the sink or on the counter. Taking up a lot of counter space. And then at the end of the day, we can just run it and it's quiet. Yeah, it's very quiet. And it's fast, actually. We checked out a couple of different modes on it. Yeah, so there's a couple different modes on it. When you open it up, it goes to the last mode that you're on, and you can click through different modes here. There's delicate, just a rinse cycle, heavy if you want to really wash something hard, medium, eco, which is it kind of corresponds to the numbers, correspond to the minutes, perhaps. Yes, I do believe it's the minutes. Yes. And then fast. So we did we did a little bit of testing while we were out with the little kilowatt meter that says how much energy we're using, because one of the things we want to do is use this while we're boondocking, because it doesn't use much water, and we think we'll actually save water using the dishwasher. But on the fast mode, it used 0.11 kilowatt hours, which seems low. Yeah, which equates basically to 9.2 amp hours if you're thinking about your battery capacity. And the eco mode, which you would think would be better, was 0.29 kilowatt hours, and it runs quite a bit longer too. So, which is basically 24 amp hours. So that we found that with this particular dishwasher, for those of you who care, the eco mode took about 2 hours, and everything got clean efficiently. And we did a fast load too, which was actually pretty full. We had a lot of dishes in there. We did fast, and it only took 35 minutes, and everything was clean. Yep. And we ran it off of the straight inverter, which it did just fine. I think the max I saw it draw was something like 500 watts. And then we also ran it off the tank and using the water pump as well, and it did just fine with that as well. We did have one problem when we got to our destination. We were getting an error code was it A6? A6, I think, yeah. A6, and the little arm that spins around in there, oddly enough, doesn't seem like it's really attached. It seems like it's just set on top of the spinner spot. And it had just basically bounced off of that while we were traveling. So once we moved that arm back on, I don't know how it stays on when it runs, but it worked fine. Yeah. So if you get the A6 error code, that's what's the problem there. So we love the dishwasher, and it's going to work well for us. And it's just going to save so much time, and makes our glamping even more glamorous. Yeah, exactly. So, thumbs up. Thumbs up for sure. Fisher Paykel. Yep, exactly.